What's up, guys? If you just join us, this is Achille Sports, and if you're new, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. After an awesome performance in the Tottenham Sports Stadium, as we do it, we deem it right to rate our players. I mean, Chelsea players, how the individual players perform in this match, and how they can improve, and also who didn't do well in the match. Chelsea is a club already, a winning club for that matter, a club that demands a lot from their players and also from the board and even the owner. So the owner has been doing very well for Chelsea. And hey, for yesterday performance, Chelsea have qualified to the finals of the EFL Cup. We have qualified to the finals. Everyone knows it. And now we are waiting for today game, or maybe the two legs between Arsenal and Liverpool, to see who will join us in the final so that we'll battle it out in Wembley Sports Stadium. Wembley is always a dream for a lot of players in England, because if you have not been going to finals, it's very difficult for you to to play in Wembley Sports Stadium, unless most of the England players who have the opportunity to play some matches over there. Hey, Chelsea is going to Wembley, and this is why we are buzzing. This is why we are happy. And for them to perform such performance in Tottenham Sports Stadium, we deem it necessary to give you the ratings, how individual players performed. You know how we do it. I'm going to be sharing a screen. I'm going to be sharing my screen to you guys, and probably you will see how most of you will be seeing the player while I'm also talking about him. And don't get me wrong, Thomas Tuchel performance yesterday and his selection was absolutely brilliant. He went back for back three. Back three was the selection he went back for, and just were able to win again in this sports stadium. Guys, if you just joined me and you are new, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, like and share the video. So, as we do it, we're going to start from the goalkeeper to defense and also to midfield and forward line. So we'll be starting with Kepa. We're starting with your man Ariza Balaga. Ariza Balaga. Kepa is man at the moment. Kepa is the man at the moment. Two clean sheets in this game is something that, hey, I always said is very good for his confidence. And yesterday, don't get me wrong, yesterday he was able to pull some magic saves and away some saves yesterday, especially the save he made in the first half. I think that save could be the save of the competition. Save of the competition. So for yesterday, he didn't do a lot of actions, but hey, that save he did save Chelsea a lot, save Chelsea a lot, and most of the times he also made some tackles. He also made some tackles. There was a lot of tackles in the penalty box yard, but VAR saved Chelsea from getting penalties and when it from conceding penalties. And when it comes to penalties, we all know how Kepa is. He's very brilliant when it comes to penalty. We see him stopping a lot of penalties for Chelsea. And for him to make that away some save from Sessegnon late on the game, Kepa, I rate him 8 out of 10. I rate him 8 out of 10. Clean sheet and that save was absolutely brilliant from him and is very good for him or his confidence moving forward. Kepa is always someone I think he can still do more, and he's been improving. He's been improving each day. For the past two games he has kept for Chelsea, he also got two clean sheets. So we can take that away from Kepa Ariza Alaga. He's the man of the moment. He's the goalkeeper of Chelsea. And hey, we'll move to the skipper himself, the captain of the side, the captain who always deem it necessary and always patient and speak to his players. He's always there when he's called for. He's always there when at the moment the club needs him. And he's in the person of Aspilicueta. We are moving straight to Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta, as I said, he's the man of the moment. He's the man that I think probably we will miss him a lot if he leave the club. Since he has joined the club, he's been brilliant. He's always good. And look, he's one of the underrated players in the Premier League. Looking at instances since he joined the club, he has been performing. He stepped up his game every time he is in the pitch. He's giving his 100%. And for that matter, to captain the side too is something that I'm always happy for. And believe it or not, Aspilicueta did brilliantly yesterday. He did brilliantly yesterday. And for him to be in the right wing back position and for Chelsea not to concede is something that we can always say. Had a far more comfortable opening 45 minutes. So his 45 minutes was always comfortable. He had a lot of, his experience. And look, he was able to anticipate the movement of Kane and Mora in the game. So he barely got trouble from these guys. He barely get trouble from these guys. And he also did marvelously well. And he was substituted in the 67th minute. 67th minute for Thiago. No, I'm actually talking about Christensen that was substituted in the 70th. Aspilicueta played 90 minutes full time. He played 90 minutes full time. His sleep didn't prove costly as in the early part of the game he slept and hey there was a lot of it was a clear chance, but hey, keeper made that save from Emerson. So for that matter, he did very well. Not really much to report about Aspilicueta, as we know, a right wing back who always try to be defensive enough for himself and for the club. But hey, Aspilicueta, even though I didn't see much crosses from him, Mount was in front of him. I didn't see so much involvement in the forward line, but hey, defensively he was okay. So my rating for the skipper himself is 7.5. 7.5. He did perfectly well in the wing back in the absence of Rhys James. We always know that from the back four, he can play any of those positions, and that is he's a utility when it comes to defending. He can play any of the defensive game. And yesterday, playing again in the left wing back is something that is very good. So his rating for me is 7.5. So we move to the man himself. We are moving to Christensen. Christensen is a defender. Yesterday, I didn't expect him to start the game, but hey, he started because last game we played against Chesterfield, he was able to score goal for Chelsea, and for him to score that goal is good for his confidence, and it was good. The tactical magician himself, Thomas Tuchel was able to use him again. And hey, an awesome performance from Christensen yesterday. He did perfectly well. He was always there at the right time. And he slipped in the game for some time, but then hey, Tottenham couldn't utilize that chance to score. They couldn't utilize that chance to score. And for me, as I said, young players arriving in the young players from academy to senior team is always something that motivates the young boys to do more. You could see this season our academy is not looking like the way it used to because most of the academies we had they were just eager to go to first 11, go to first team and go to somewhere and get the playing time. In the person of Livramento is one of them who went to Southampton and he's performing brilliantly over there. But hey, remember there's a buyback clause on him. And for Christensen to play this game, and 45 minutes he was absolutely brilliant for Chelsea, and he was substituted in the 67th minute for Thiago Silva. And hey, he did very well yesterday against Spurs, and for him to pull that, even though there wasn't a lot of threat, but in the second half we saw him fumbling, and it looked like he was tired because he came back from injury. Since he came back, this is his second match. So Thiago Silva was substituted for him. And for that matter, he didn't complete the game. And I'm going to give him 7.2 out of 10. 7.2 out of 10. If you think otherwise, you can smash it in the comment section and we'll go and get it done. For me, he did very well, and probably 7.2 is perfectly written for him. And hey, we are going, I told you we need to finish up the defensive, we need to finish up the defense. When we finish the defense, then we will then move to the next stage. We will then move to the next stage. Now we are going to the man himself, the man of the moment. I just heard lately that his contract will be signed. He will sign his contract. I just heard it, and after yesterday came that I heard that we shouldn't worry. They will sign his contract, and he's performing absolutely brilliant for Chelsea at the moment. Tony Rudiger making the difference in the game, scoring the only goal in the game. I think is something that you cannot take away from him from yesterday game. The last game against Chesterfield, he didn't play, but for him to recall into the starting lineup yesterday, he rested. He rested very well, and I the goal was absolutely header, like a cracker header from him, which I think he did perfectly well yesterday. And for him to be organizing the defense yesterday too is something that we always look into. He performed very well yesterday, playing alongside with Christensen. The last season we saw both when they were paired, it wasn't looking very good for Frank Lampard. And yesterday, for them to get clean sheet in the first half with Christensen, hey, and VAR saving us over a penalty. It was very clumsy tackle from Rudiger to Hovey. Hovey. I think it was just dive, but then we were lucky it was outside the box. Other than that, we could have get penalty. Tottenham could have got the penalty, but VAR saved Chelsea from that. And believe me or not, I think Rudiger was my man of the match because he pulled that goal and he made the difference, and he was able to also get clean sheet from the defense side. So I'll give him 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving Rudiger 8.5 out of 10. If you think otherwise, it's your opinion. In this channel, opinions always count. Your opinion count. So be part of this channel. Type your opinions in the comment section, and also comments. Bring your comments, and remember to also follow us on social media, Twitter at Achille Sports. We'll follow you right back when you follow us, and also TikTok underscore Achille Sports, and also Instagram Achille Sports. Everywhere Achille Sports. And Rudiger 8.5 for my rating. And if you think otherwise, smash it in the comments below. Now I'm moving to the man who I think was absolutely brilliant again yesterday. It was absolutely brilliant yesterday. When we talk of games, when we talk of performance, when we talk of improvement, Malang Sarr is a player who has improved very well for about 3 games or 4 games currently. Like Malang Sarr, for since I said when he came to Chelsea, yesterday game was the third, right? Yes, I think so. Since this season, or since he joined Chelsea, because he joined Chelsea under Lampard, and he was loaned out. He was loaned out to Benfica, and last season he also stayed in the club. And since staying in the club, Malang Sarr has performed absolutely marvelous for Chelsea for the past 3 games. For the past 3 games, he has performed marvelously. And for yesterday, he's been able to perform very well, play in the central defense, and also later on playing the wing back. And he was moving forward to get crosses into the half yard box of Tottenham. And for me, I said this is the third time I saw him performing very well for Chelsea. The first one was Brentford in the Brentford Community Stadium in a Premier League match. He did. Chelsea won 1-0. He did perfectly well. And the home first leg of the EFL Cup against Tottenham in Stamford Bridge was another marvelous performance from him. And yesterday game was absolutely brilliant from Malang Sarr. So as Tuchel said, we are weighing our options. We cannot just go into the market blindly. We don't want to bring quantity. We want to bring quality. And for Malang Sarr to pull the way he pulled yesterday, I think he is someone that if he continue like this, he can still stay in the club. He might not go on loan next time. He will stay and fight for position. And believe me, he did absolutely well. And Malang Sarr, like these 3 games he has performed, I rate him very well because he is a young player and he can still improve. And it's all about Chelsea. It's all about the Blues. It's all about you guys knowing how your players perform in the last match. And Malang Sarr will improve. I think he can still improve and he can be part of Chelsea defensive line. And as I understand, he can also play in the central back position. He can play left back and he can also play left wing back. So he's someone I think he can do very well. And Tuchel is good when it comes to improvement of players. We can see most of the players improving better and getting better and better each day. And Malang Sarr is one of them. And my rating for Malang Sarr is 9 out of 10 because yesterday he was absolutely brilliant. He played 2 positions yesterday, and all indication shows that he can still improve. I'm giving him 9 not because he's the best, but hey, his improvement is quite marvelous and absolutely good for his confidence. Hey, if you think otherwise, you know what to do, you know how we do it. And I've finished my defensive line now. So we are going to move into the midfield. And yesterday, the defensive midfield was occupied by Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic. Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho. So probably we'll be moving to which player should we move to? Is it Mateo or Jorginho? What do you think, guys? Like, I think let's move to Mateo Jorginho first because Jorginho is our defensive midfielder. And this season, when Mateo got injured and Kante got injured, he stepped up for Chelsea. And that's one thing about these players. They are always there for each other. They are always there for each other. And for Jorginho and Kovacic to be paired again in yesterday game is absolutely brilliant. Another player back in the starting lineup after the Saturday off. So Saturday he was off, he didn't play, he was rested, and look all the better, look all better for his rest. He was very and he you know how he play effortless football. He made the game very simple for himself, one touch chances, and the first 45 minutes was absolutely brilliant from him. He did a lot of one touch passes and unleashing a number of precise through balls for Lukaku and Werner. And for this kind of thing he did, he's very good and thought out. Like I said when he comes to in Chelsea, he hasn't played that kind of football I want him to play. That kind of through balls, he only exhibited in once a ball that what was the name? Tammy Abraham scored last season. And this guy has this technical eye to see players on their positioning and giving them that through passes. And I'm here to see that devilish pass from him because he's very good in that. And aside from that one touch movement, yesterday was absolutely brilliant from him. 45 minutes, we couldn't see Kane, we couldn't see Lucas Moura in the game, all because they were not able to break our midfield. All because they were not able to break our midfield. And this guy stood strongly over there and was able to control every single pass and effortless ball. My rating for Jorginho is 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 because he was also very instrumental in the first half display and a 70 ball possession against 30 for Tottenham. And with this way, I think this is best for him, and he can still improve because yesterday he didn't give balls out like that, like he usually do. Jorginho usually give balls out easily, and yesterday he didn't do that kind of shit. And he's my what am I going to say? He is being rated 8 out of 10. And that's perfect rating for him. If you think otherwise, smash it, smash your thoughts in the comments section. Let's get into it. The next person we'll be moving is Mateo Kovacic. Mateo Kovacic, as I said, this guy is he's actually a fighter. When he's in your midfield, a lot of people underrate Mateo Kovacic, but hey, this guy is a complete midfielder. Mateo Kovacic is a complete midfielder, no doubt. If you dispute that, type your comments in the section below, your opinion in the comment section below, because Mateo Kovacic is a complete midfielder. He just needs that shooting to add that shooting into his game, and he is 100% midfielder. And the kind of game Mateo Kovacic play, if he's in your midfield, no one can hold possession, no one can get the possession out of, because this guy can hold ball, dribble past one or two player, create spaces for strikers to score. He himself is not scoring, but hey, the last game against Liverpool, he was able to give us a goal. And he established control in midfield earlier on by nicking the ball off Harry Winks a couple of times. He nickled the ball out of Harry Winks for a couple of times and was near foulers. Like he's just a player who doesn't time players, and he also play like, I don't know which player am I going to even compare him with, because he has his own unique style of playing in the midfield, and he's very confident in the midfield. He's very confident, and he did very well the entire 76 minutes on the pitch. He did marvelously well for Chelsea. But hey, he was substituted. He was substituted in the 76th minute. So he worked himself out of many tight spots with great skills. So his skills is absolutely marvelous, and he has been able to create a lot of spots to give through passes, even though some of them didn't pass through. Some of them we could have get a goal for it, but hey, we could not able to utilize those spot spaces that he created for Chelsea. Even though yesterday he rarely gave the ball away. He didn't give any ball away. Sometimes we usually see him giving a ball away and it becomes a threat to Chelsea defense. But hey, yesterday is something we totally see differently. And for Mateo Kovacic performance yesterday, I rate him 8.2 out of 10. 8.2 out of 10. And hey, let's move to the young boy himself. The young boy, I always think he will be able to excel in Chelsea. What do you think about Hudson Odoi? Hudson Odoi. Hudson Odoi is a brilliant player when it comes to Chelsea. And if you know Hudson Odoi, you will know that he is not yet at his best. If you know him, you will know that he is not yet at his best. Injury took him away and he's now coming back. And hey, believe me, Hudson Odoi is always a player that I think he will do well in Chelsea. That's why a number of big clubs came for him. A number of big clubs came for him, but Chelsea said no. Even under Lampard era, even the time he just started playing, Bayern Munich is a team that has been struggling to get this boy. But hey, Chelsea always stood in the ground and said no to any offer, because this boy, when he's at his best, everyone will know no player in England can. He will become a hazard of Chelsea. Believe me, he will be, so long as he's getting playing time. So long as he's getting playing time, he will be a hazard of Chelsea. And if possible, he can do more. This guy just need to add scoring into his game. He just needs to add that scoring, and he will be a complete midfielder and a scorer and an offensive player. This guy, throughout midfield, aside from defensive midfield, I've never seen him play. But up front midfield to striking, he can play any position, and that's one thing I love about him. He's just like Hazard. Hazard in Chelsea can play any position from offensive midfield to striking. And Hudson-Odoi have that kind of capability. He's skillful. Hazard was skillful. He can dribble two or three players and get that banner goal for himself, like he did against Chesterfield. The goal he scored was absolutely brilliant. And for him to have performed yesterday, like yesterday, we didn't see the best out of him. To be frank, yesterday we didn't. If maybe because he was playing the left wing back, maybe that was why we didn't see the best out of him. And it's not his favorite position to me. Leave him to the offensive side, and he could threaten your opponent yard. Even though yesterday he was able to get a couple of balls in, and it wasn't all that threat for the opponent Tottenham. And believe it or not, he's alive. Gave Emerson Royal a tough time. He gave Emerson Royal tough time in the game. And Emerson Royal was fumbling in the pitch and was fouling him a lot. He was fouling him a lot. And as we all know Hudson-Odoi, that one-on-one, when it comes to one-on-one, who dare you to challenge him? He will disgrace you. And that was one thing he did yesterday. He forced Golini into one good save in the first half. If you could remember, the ball that he was able to curl in, and the guy Golini saved the ball. And believe me, this is a guy that we can still get 100%. If we get 100% out of him, there's no Premier League player who can challenge him. There's no Premier League player who can challenge him. And plenty of energy after the break, but little in the way of in the way to the end. In the end product was always a problem for Hudson-Odoi. So because of that, I'm rating him 7.8 out of 10. Yesterday game, I didn't see much of him. So my rating for him is 7.8. And who should we move next to? Let's move to your favorite player, guy. Let's move to your favorite player, Mason Mount. Mason Mount is he's also one of the academy guys you all know, and his energy in the team, this guy, I don't even know how to describe him, because this Mason Mount guy is a guy who have proved everyone wrong. People have forgotten very soon when Lampard was using him. Yo, my man is here. Eddie Rhyme said, more fire, more fire. Eddie Ram said more fire. And guys, if you don't know, if you love music, if you love detonation of music, good music in the field of or in your home, just go and subscribe Eddie Ram. You see the logo there. That's his logo. Try to subscribe. And hey, this guy knows about music. When it comes to music, just go to Eddie Ram. So let's go back. He said the player weren't great yesterday. Yes, yesterday Mason Mount was not great, to be frank. Yesterday he wasn't great. But hey, people have just forgotten so soon. When Lampard was using him subsequently, and people thought Lampard loved this boy so much, but he has been able to prove himself under Tuchel. And for him to have scored 7 goals so far this season shows the consistency this guy has. But yesterday he didn't show up very well. For me, yesterday he didn't do well. And I don't know whether Eddie Ram is referring to Mount or Hosnodo didn't show up yesterday like Mason Mount, but Hosnodo was involved in the game much better than Mason Mount yesterday. And don't get us wrong, Mason Mount looked third off in the pace in the early stages of the game, but his set pieces delivering was on the money as the Blues took the lead via Rudiger back. As you all know, this guy is absolutely brilliant when it comes to Chelsea, and he's always there to fight for the club. But yesterday, I didn't see him much in the game. Surprised to see him substituted in the second half as part of his assist. Was not at his very best yesterday. He wasn't at his very best yesterday for me. And believe it or not, this guy is a player who can still improve, who can still get into the midfield scoring area, opportunity areas for Chelsea. And he will always net for Chelsea because he's hungry for goals. He's hungry for goals, and he's been creating a lot of chances, but scoring is always a problem. But hey, since Lampard, or I said Lampard, since Tuchel arrival, he's the only person who involved in a lot of goals than any other player in the pitch for Chelsea. And as I already explained, his consistency. And for yesterday game, for him not to pull out his best, I think I rate him 6.2 out of 10. 6.2 out of 10. Even though he assisted for Chelsea, he assisted. And believe me, yesterday wasn't his best. It was not his best. And he can still do more. I want him to do more. The rating is just for him to motivate himself to do more for the club because that's what we always want for Chelsea. Cast your opinion. Let your opinion come in. Your say is good or your say is being heard here. And remember to follow us on Twitter at Achilles Sports. We'll follow you back. So yesterday, Kepa was fabulous. Yesterday, Kepa was fantastic. Eddie Rhyme said it. Yes, Kepa was fantastic. And for me, I already said it in the beginning. Kepa was absolutely marvelous. And the save he made yesterday, I think it will be the save of the tournament, believe it or not. And for him to get clean sheet again is very good in moving forward and for his confidence. And right now, he's just number one for Chelsea and he's proving it. Two games, two clean sheet. That is what we always want for our boy. That is what we always want for our boy. And who should we move next to? We have just finished about Mason Mount. Let's go to your man himself. Let's go to your man himself. The only striker every Chelsea fan is it wants him to do best in Chelsea in the person of Timo Werner. Timo Werner is a striker. Every Chelsea want him to succeed because this guy is workaholic. He's workaholic for the club. He is workaholic. And when he's there, his runs, his movement, and believe it or not, he has been absolutely brilliant. Just scoring is always a problem for this guy. Scoring is always problem for him. And we just need him to get that scoring opportunities and be able to utilize the chances he's been getting. And last game against Chesterfield, he was able to net for Chelsea. And yesterday he wasn't able to score a goal for us. A really live wire and the first half as Matt Doherty had absolutely no idea where he was. So Devenson Sanchez didn't fare much better either when he switched sides. That's how he is. So when he switched, he actually threatened this defensive line of Tottenham yesterday, but there wasn't fruitful out of it. So not so much impact after the breakthrough. There was no so much impact after the break. We all know he had a break yesterday, but there wasn't enough for Chelsea and no real chances of note apart from a first half lob that went wide. Yes. So yesterday he didn't, but his runs and his movement was absolutely good for Lukaku. But hey, yesterday he didn't do much I expected. And my rating for Timo Werner is 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. for sure. If you think otherwise, this is just my opinion. If you think otherwise, you can smash your rating in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Who should we next? Who should we move next? Who should we move to? Our next player should be, so Eddie Ram again. Eddie Ram said, Sa is a very good squad player for rotation, but not yet good enough to be a starter. Yes, as I said, Sa he has for 3 games since he arrived in Chelsea have surprised me, and his improvement. That's why I rate him 9 out of 10 for yesterday game, because the way he's improving, it means that he can still do more, but not a starter. In case there are a lot of opportunities, he can do it for Chelsea. And Eddie Ram, you absolutely nail it. As I said, Eddie Ram have a YouTube channel for music. If you're a music lover, this guy is very good in music. Just he's reacting to music, and he gives you absolutely nothing but the best. He also said Chelsea is not doing business by getting fullbacks. Yeah, yes, I understand you perfectly. And Tuchel said we should just take their time. They will do business, but they want to bring quality, not quantity. They are still weighing their options to see how it will go. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Another one from him again. I wish they get Digne. Lucas Digne is someone Chelsea has been linked to, I guess, in quote. But hey, no official contact yet. No official contact yet. But hey, you know Chelsea, how we do it. They will just be underground before you realize they pull the magic out. If they want the player, absolutely they can get him, because the player too wants to go to a top club. We are Champions League title defenders this season. We are champions of Europe. So every player we are sniffing our nose into wants to come to Chelsea. So no doubt if Chelsea wants to pull Lucas Digne, it's going to be something easy for the club. But hey, we are still weighing our options. We are still weighing our options. So let's go to Lukaku, the man himself, the striker who always wants in nothing but goals. And it was going to lead him to trouble. But hey, Chelsea handled it very well. A lot of football fans were just looking to see how Chelsea will handle his situation. But hey, Chelsea is always Chelsea. We know how to handle ourselves. We know how to handle our staffs, and it will remain in the club forever. And this guy is absolutely a fighter. He always wants to win. He always wants trophies. That's why he came to Chelsea. And he expressed again how he loved Chelsea, how Chelsea is his childhood club. That's not what we want to listen. We want to see the goals coming. The goals will surely come. And yesterday game, we saw him hungry again for goals. We saw him hungry again for goals. Almost score a classic Lukaku goal on 10 minutes when he overpowered Davis, but was denied by Golini. As I said, Golini is a goalkeeper of Tottenham, and he did absolutely brilliant for him. He did absolutely brilliant in the match for Tottenham, and Tottenham could have received more than 3 goals in the match, but this goalkeeper stood tall and was doing fantastic saves in the match. And don't get me wrong, Lukaku, well, sometimes he's not even in the right position and he's calling for pass, but his hold up play is absolutely brilliant, just like Drogba. Drogba, when he's in front of you, it was very difficult for you to get the ball. He just need that kind of passes Drogba was getting. He will hold up the play, give one pass, and then place himself to score. And right now, he's not getting it. He just came in, and the team needs to just get involved and get that unity, get that cohesion. So Lukaku, I think he can still score goals for Chelsea. But hey, I'm not saying I'm begging him to stay. If he wants to go, he's ready to go. Chelsea is not begging any player to stay. You come because you love the club. And hey, we need the goals from you. So match impact after the breakthrough, and no real chances of note apart from the first half look that went wide. So my rating for Lukaku is 7 out of my this thing, what's the name? My rating for Lukaku is 7 out of 10. 12 towards like he wasn't involving an awful lot, and like he looked a tad isolated at times. So I will give him 7 for leading the attack. Absolutely, absolutely 7. And if you think otherwise, guys, that's why the comment section is there for us to cast our opinion, and your opinion always count. I have still Mark said money, for all Chelsea's money, they still can't buy class. Which one are you talking about? Which class? Which one? Which one do you want us to buy that we are not able to get it? Let me know. Still. Now another one from Still again said Boris Yeltsin, blood money. Still, that's so. What do you think about yesterday game? What do you think about their rating yesterday? And cast your opinion. As I said, I will always display it on the screen. And don't get me wrong, Lukaku is a player that we always. But who doesn't want a striker like Haaland in his team? Maybe Haaland is someone that we still think he can, until he got somewhere to go. I still love Haaland to come to Chelsea. Maybe hey, we always want a lot for the club, but who doesn't want a quality player in his club? Chelsea, as we are buying, we also, now the game is business. It's business. So when you are buying, you also need to know what you are earning. So for Chelsea to have pulled Lukaku deal from nowhere, because Haaland was always the favorite. Haaland was always the top that Chelsea was looking for, but the deal didn't source, and we had to go for Lukaku. And our next person that I think we should be going for is no other person but the guy who came in for Mason Mount. The guy who came in for Mason Mount. And as like I said earlier before, Chelsea have been like, we have been lucky that they didn't call him for African Cup of Nation. Ziyech is a player that has step up a lot for Chelsea in the last 2 games he has played for Chelsea. And believe me, this guy is a player who everyone is like, players are afraid when he is in Chelsea team, because you don't know what he can bring you at any point in time. You don't know what he can bring you at any point in time. His crosses, his crosses into the 18-yard box is absolutely brilliant. And I haven't seen a player who does that kind of crossing. And he didn't impose himself on the game yesterday enough for me after coming on. So in the 67th minute, he came on, but I didn't see a lot. And we know that there are some players, when they come on, it's always difficult for them to adapt into the situation. But for Ziyech, of his experience, to come on and not involve much, but hey, he absolutely a good player, and he can still improve better. And I know he can fight for positioning. And the 4 back was absolutely good for him. He nailed it during the 4 back play for Chelsea. But the 3 back, I think, was always something that affects his play. It doesn't give the best out of him. And if I were Tuchel, anytime I want to play 4 back, Ziyech will be in the game. But yesterday game is something that I didn't see him involved much after coming on in the 67th minute. And for me, I give him 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10. Who else should we be going to? Who else should we be going? Let me get my man comments in the let me see. Eddie Rhyme. Rhyme said Hakim is good, but I think he's not working at Chelsea because of the formation. That is perfectly said. I just said it before. And I think the 4 back was absolutely good for Chelsea when he was there. He absolutely nailed it. And I think Chelsea should just switch to the back 4 so that they can get the best out of the players. So we have to let him go and get a different winger. Well, it depends on the coach. It depends on the board. If Hakim, for me, I still think Hakim Ziyech is someone who can do. He's at his peak, and he needs that maturity in the game. And if he's not going, I think Chelsea should better switch for back four, which will give us more resolution and more players up front to do their best for the club. And for me, seeing him in the back for the way he played for Chelsea is something amazing if Chelsea is going to play any other club. And remember, tomorrow I'm going to give you the build up. We'll go live to the build up of City game. Tomorrow we are going live to the build up of City game, and I will give you pretty much analysis too of the game between City and Chelsea in the Etihad Stadium. Remember, it's going to be the first. It's going to be like early game of Premier League fixture, 12:30 UK time. Don't worry, we are going to react on it too. So you can put your comments in the section. We are rating players today because of yesterday marvelous performance. And who said Chelsea is not a good club? Chelsea is one of the best club in England because we are the first to mention we are in finals. No club have been to finals this season except Chelsea, and League Cup is going to come to bridge this season. And as I said, my best for this season is just two or more trophies. Believe me, that's what I want Chelsea to have this season. And our players are coming back stronger. They are coming back in form, and winning mentality is there because for the past 3 games we haven't lose or draw any game in all competition. The last 3 games we haven't lose or draw. I can even say last 5 games we haven't lose single one of it. So it's the winning mentality is back, and now we just need to pull our gear in this time or in this moment of a time. Another one, let's go. Who should we go for? Because now we are in the substitutes. We just finished Hakim Ziyech. His performance yesterday wasn't all that good. So my rating for him was just 5.5. Which player should we move to? Marcus Alonso was someone who came on in the game again yesterday. And Marcus Alonso did well for the first, was it the first leg? Yes, that was the first leg. He did absolutely fantastic for Chelsea in the first leg against Tottenham Hotspurs in the EFL Cup. Hey, yesterday he came on again and he did, his contribution was not all that so we wanted, but hey, he did very well. He came in the 67th minute in place of Werner. So it means that he played wide, and hey, he got some few crosses in, but hey, there was no touches. And if someone was there, like one cross I saw him put out in the match, and it didn't result a lot. But for him to come on and didn't involve much in the game, and for him to, I rate him 5.2 out of 10. What are your thoughts in this rating? What do you think about the yesterday game? Who was your best player? Let me see it in the comment section. Don't be afraid. Your voice is count here. And remember, if you are new, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, be part of this amazing community. It's all Chelsea, the Blues. The sky is blue. If you don't love blue, which one will you love again? Which one will you love? And there are only 2 clubs in London, Chelsea and the rest. Chelsea and the rest, because we always outperform the rest. And for Tuchel, since arriving, London Derby has just lost only one match, and that was against West Ham this season. First leg in the Premier League, first leg of the Premier League this season. That was the only match he lost in London Derby since arriving. And hey, this guy is doing absolutely brilliant in Chelsea, and the fans love him. We all love him. Our next substitute, let me check. So our next substitute yesterday is Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva. I always call him the defender general. The defender general. The what he does everything. He does everything in the defense. And believe me, his control in the defense is absolutely amazing. His control in the defense is absolutely amazing. And yesterday he also came on into the game. And believe me, against City, he's going to start the game. The City game, what do you think, guys? Do you think we should maintain four back or we should go back to three back? Because the last match we saw City giving us 1-0 in the Premier League in Stamford Bridge this season. So now on Saturday we are visiting the Etihad Stadium for the second leg, and it's nothing but revenge, nothing but revenge for Chelsea, to be frank. And Thiago Silva coming on yesterday, and you know how we do it. He always have control in the midfield. He always have control in the midfield. I said in the midfield, in the both the defense and midfield, because he know when to call back midfielder. He knows when to tell me, if I place go here, let me give you the pass. And the way he's controlling the defense is absolutely amazing. And for the young guys to be learning from him, hey, Chelsea will be a great club when it comes to the defensive area, because this mentality this guy is having, winning mentality, a captain, he has a captain-like mentality. And hey, Christensen, Rhys James, who again, Malang. And if Mbuyamba too is able to learn from this guy, believe me, Chelsea defense will be absolutely brilliant in the near future, because we have the young guys who is. I haven't forgotten about Chalobah. Chalobah is someone who is learning a lot too from him, and for him to came on in the game yesterday and did what he did, even though there wasn't much to be done. And he also came on in the 67th minute for Christensen. Some impact, some important impact under his belt after his COVID enforced absence. So he has done well. The Tuchel just wanted him for him to introduce into this game, so that we'll be able to start him in the next game against Tottenham. Against Tottenham. We already finished with Tottenham. Don't worry, guys. This is just a slip of tongue. And for us to go into Etihad Stadium against City is something that will be buzzing for this defender. And believe me, this guy is a player that you should not underrate. And for him to control our defense and also be able to tell them, and he can also give through passes for Chelsea. He can also give through passes. His through passes is absolutely amazing. Another one from Eddie Rhymes React. So that's his YouTube channel, Rhymes React. Go check it out, and you see what City game is a tricky one. But if we win that, it will be a boost to go for the title fight. Exactly. That's what we are all hoping for. It's going to be tricky, but hey, I believe Chelsea can be able to pull magic in the Etihad Stadium. And when we do that, we can absolutely go fight the title, no matter how it is. And because remember, points will be dropped in that game. Either City is going to drop points or City is going to drop points. And yesterday, as I said, now we are in the finals. League Cup is coming home, and we are buzzing for that. Are you not buzzing for the League Cup? You should be buzzing, because the League Cup is coming home. We are just waiting for today game. Maybe they will play the second one maybe next week or when, I don't know yet. But hey, we are waiting for Liverpool and City. I said City, Liverpool and Arsenal, our back neighbors. Already they are out of the FA Cup. And hey, believe it or not, we are waiting for these two. We are not afraid of any of them. If any of them qualify, we are just waiting for them to come on, and we will give it to them. And we'll give it to them and bring the cup home. And last season, for us not to take the FA Cup, I wasn't happy. But hey, the Champions League was always in our mind, and we couldn't. We just give the FA Cup away to what was their name? Leicester City. And this season, we are not going to leave stone unturned. Any final we go, we need to bring the cup home. And Chelsea is buzzing for trophies this season. Thomas Tuchel is buzzing for trophies this season. And don't forget, if you're new, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, be part of this amazing community. And hey, we just finished the player rating, and now I need to thank you for being part of us. I need to thank you for your time. And I'm going to go to Facebook Live for African Cup of Nation around 5, is it 5 GMT? No, 4 GMT. 4 GMT. And I will be live on Facebook. They have blocked my other account, and I'm going to use another account to go on and react to this African Cup of Nation. It's something amazing. Games are coming up there. Beautiful games are over there. We saw Nigeria winning against Egypt, and also what's the name? Algeria, the defending champions, were able to draw against Sierra Leone. So these games in African Cup of Nation is absolutely buzzing. And join me on Facebook in few hours time to go into this game. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Thank you very much for being part of the community. And it's been absolutely happy to host you. I've been, and it's buzzing. It's buzzing. And remember, I will give you the pre-match analysis of City Chelsea. And also tomorrow we'll go live to the build-up of City game on Saturday. So be part and give us your thoughts, give us your analysis, give us your discussion tomorrow's live game and live YouTube reaction to the build-up of City Chelsea. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now. And I'm going to see you later on Facebook.